everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to Voices from the Edge. I can pitch and not in my studio tonight, and my video's a little wonky, so we're going to see how it goes. But at the table, we have August, Maureen, Katie, Keisha, Roseanne, and Andrea. Hey, everybody. Happy Friday.
Hello. Happy Friday.
Hello.
Hello. Voices from the Edge.
Continues.
Yeah, I feel like we edge more towards the edge every week. It's like, oh my God, this is crazy. So our theme, part of our theme for tonight is how far will he go? How far will this man go? And to kick us off tonight, we're going to start with some of the latest. So typically, and you guys tell me, in American tradition, presidents, I don't know, are typically honored after they leave office, right? After they leave office, sometimes decades later, and usually through bipartisan action. So airports, federal buildings, culture institutions, all this recognition, it comes after, and it's a reflection of their service. They're being honored, right? So when a leader's name begins appearing on institutions while they're still wielding power or trying to grab it, it stops feeling like honor and starts feeling like branding to me. And that's a different democratic norm, because it's not democratic at all. In fact, it doesn't feel like democracy to me. It feels like a dictatorship.
I literally shared a photo today of, I think it was like late 1930s Germany, of Hitler on a poster in Yep, there it is. Yep, I shared that.
That's such a great segue, Katie. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Right on cue. So yeah, this is a fair comparison. What the fuck? I mean, literally. And somebody made a comment. Yeah, it's literally his booking photo. I don't know. I don't know. Feels like something straight out of Germany to me.
It, if I can understand, yes, it does. And having been to, reading all the history and being to Germany on a trip and at a concentration camp, I never thought I would say this about our country, but there are similarities.
And speaking of that, thank you again for that segue. These were not planned, by the way, but here, let's listen to someone who also has that perspective for us, and hopefully we can hear.
I think it's awful. It's terrible. I'm a 90-year-old Jewish Holocaust survivor. Got out of Hamburg on one of the last ships from Hamburg to New York in 1938 when I was 2. I didn't come out of one dictatorship to live in another one. I've seen this movie before. I don't like it, and I'm very unhappy that this poster is hanging on the Department of Justice building. It does not belong there. It doesn't belong. It makes us
rerun, huh?
North Korea.
It's perfect. I love it. I like Trump's expression on it. It looks good.
My opinion is, no matter what your opinion is on whichever president, I feel like that they are still the commander-in-chief, and I think it's important to document it in history.
I think it's pretty hypocritical, considering he's a person that's been found liable in civil court for sexual assault, owes E. Jean Carroll $90 million for sexual assault. That's after a judge and jury decided it. I find this entire administration to be a giant pile of hypocrisy.
What shocks you the most about the banner?
The fact that the Department of Justice is meant to be independent of the president's influence, and having his picture on the front of it is sort of the antithesis of that.
So what do you make of this banner?
I think it's awful. It's terrible.
Sorry, pull this down. That's not the only thing. We had already talked about including the name on the Kennedy Center, right? Did you all hear about the airport in Florida?
No. Do we want to?
Donald J. Trump International Airport. So let's, by the time, we'll share this other video too, but let's take a look at this. Oh my God. It's starting to just, the cringe. I mean, it's just cringe.
Voting 81-30 to support renaming Palm Beach International Airport. A similar measure is ready for consideration by the full Senate. Supporters of that bill say changing the name makes sense. The airport is just miles from President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. Democrats believe that change should wait until the president is out of office. They raised issues with his past conduct.
I have not always agreed with every president, but I've never felt the need to stand up and say, no, we shouldn't name an airport after them because of their behavior. But I have to say, I must say no. I must say no to this airport.
This is completely proper to name our president, especially a naming of an airport. He has had a strong focus in American infrastructure, and the airport is located at his home base, Palm Beach.
The legislative proposal would give authority to the state to name 7 major commercial service airports in Florida. The only change proposed is Palm Beach International Airport becoming Donald J. Trump International Airport. The private entity that handles licenses for the Trump organization has already filed trademark applications for the proposed Trump airport. Democratic lawmakers say this could allow the family to profit from the renaming. A Trump organization spokesperson says the trademark would prevent bad actors from misusing the name, and the family will not receive royalties.
Bullshit. Bullshit. That's not what it's about. It's always about money. What do you guys think?
As if there aren't more important things going on. As if there aren't more important things going on. This is seriously what we're wasting our time with. And this is also Florida, who just got rid of all vaccine mandates. So I was
already ready to go to the next story.
I think a couple of things. One, I think naming all of these buildings after yourself and putting posters up is some small dick energy. And I also think that it's almost kind of perfect that it's the Palm Beach airport, because that's also where Jeffrey Epstein's home was, where he did all that dirty shit. So why not name it after another pedophile?
Exactly, Keisha. Yep.
Put pedophile in chief up there. See if they'll fly out of it.
Anybody else? I have one more video on this, and then we'll move on. So the one thing, the key, did you pick up on the lie? All the Trump administration did for infrastructure, that was Biden's, not Trump's. Trump put his name on it. And people, we have to continue to keep reminding people that it was Biden's administration who got that through, not Trump. He hasn't done shit.
Every good idea he's come up with since being in office has been from somebody else. None of them are his ideas. None of them.
Yeah, we watched on The View this week. Savannah Chrisley was the guest host all week, which is terrible. And she gave Trump credit for donating a bunch of money to HBCUs. And they had to tell her, no, that was Biden. Biden is the one who awarded HBCUs all this money. It wasn't Trump.
You would think they would put someone on The View who actually knew the facts.
No, but he's the one who gave her and her husband the pardon.
I know.
Her parents.
Yeah.
Her parents. They always on The View have to have one.
Nice to be white.
They always have to have one right person, because Alyssa's off for right now, but
I heard they set her straight on Trump's racism as well.
Why did they have her on there?
Yeah, they couldn't find nobody else blind.
They wanted to have, I think because Alyssa's out, they want to use this opportunity to get ratings by putting on the worst of the worst Republicans. They're also going to bring Elizabeth Hasselbeck back for a week.
Oh God. I think too they got in trouble too with all the Tallarico stuff. Something with Tallarico, just like the stuff with Stephen Colbert, which got even more views for being on YouTube than him airing the interview on TV.
They needed a tap dancer. Love that. All right, so let's play one more video, and this is one of ours that we did months ago, warning people that this was going to happen. And I remember people saying, "Oh, that's hyperbolic. That's never going to happen." You know, blah 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 blah. But it's only a minute long.
It started here with small changes. Cosmetic, he said. A garden once full of life, replaced with stone and umbrellas. Even the rooms that held our history, remade in his image.
Oh my goodness.
Why honor the man who united us when you can sit in his place? Why honor the founders when you can brand their symbols from the Capitol to the mountains, until one day, one man's face replaces the very idea of freedom? Authoritarianism doesn't always start with violence. It usually starts with vanity.
I don't know. Kind of feels like we're heading in that direction.
I think we're all ready.
I keep saying next.
I forgot what the Oval Office, not the Oval Office, the meeting room, what it looked like without all that crap on the walls.
I didn't know he had a mega bedspread on there. A mega.
Oh, he doesn't. That was created. That was to make a point.
Oh. Ugh.
But it
that was before. That was before. I did that before he tore down the East Wing.
They say he want to do the West Wing too.
Yeah, if they keep letting him. Hey, Congress, grow some balls.
If he does do the West Wing, let's put all of them in there with him, and then just tell them all we're having like some kind of party. Just knock it down with all of them in there.
Put some blue balls in there with it.
All right. Anything else on this fun topic? If not, we are going to switch gears from naming everything after yourself to looting the government and stealing our money. Roseanne, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So as we all know, yesterday, he held the inaugural meeting of his new Board of Peace in D.C. with 9 members pledging to give $7 billion towards a Gaza aid package. He also stated that the U.S. will contribute $10 billion, which we believe is coming from the U.S. Treasury.
Uh-huh.
The event was held at the U.S. Institute of Peace, which now bears his name, and it was missing some key U.S. allies which have not joined the bloc. Some of those include Germany, Italy, Norway, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. However, they did send, quote unquote, official observers to the meeting. So why does this matter? The board met as the U.S. president seeks to rewrite global diplomacy, having long criticized organizations, including the United Nations and NATO. Concerns have been raised that a membership fee for this board could lead to conflicts of interest, but the administration has insisted that the effort is about achieving peace, not profit. What is the Board of Peace? It stemmed from his plan to end the conflict in Gaza, which included a ceasefire with Israel that was brokered by the U.S. in October. but as we know, that has remained fragile. His plan has expanded, aiming to end other conflicts around the world, not just the Middle East. During yesterday's meeting, he stated that Indonesia, Morocco, Kazakhstan, Kosovo, and Albania have all pledged to send troops for a Gaza stabilization force, while Egypt and Jordan will train police for the efforts. So where did the money come from? The money came from Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, UAE, Morocco, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Uzbekistan, and Kuwait. Who are the members are also that have accepted into this board are Albania, Argentina, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Belarus, Bulgaria, Cambodia, Egypt, El Salvador, Hungary, Indonesia, Israel, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Kuwait, Kosovo, Morocco, Mongolia, Pakistan, Paraguay, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, the UAE, Uzbekistan, and Vietnam. What do these all have in common? The common thread is the majority of them are authoritarians, authoritarian-run countries. He wants the $10 billion to be contributed by the U.S., which would essentially become a slush fund of taxpayer money that he can use as he likes. The account has already been set up, but the problem is that in order to transfer this, he would need congressional approval, and he doesn't have that. I mean, right now we are in a deadlock over funding for DHS. So even if he does ask Congress for the funds, it seems unlikely that it will be approved. And with the upcoming midterms, I don't believe now is the best time for him to make a major foreign policy slush fund, because Republicans want to convince their constituents that they still put America first. It sounds like this money in this account is really to facilitate his son-in-law, Jared Kushner's master plan for Gaza, which is just another luxury real estate grift. One other source of the money could be that he dips into his previously sold seats on the board, where he charged $1 billion each, but at that time he refused to say where the money is going. I don't like this. He's already suing the IRS for $10 billion, and now he wants to take this other $10 billion from hardworking people like us. No, I don't agree with that, and I would hope that the MAGA folks, the independents who are still maybe on the brink and want to remain independent will realize what this really is. So
one of the interesting things, that was an awesome rundown, Roseanne, of that.
Thank you.
One of the interesting things I found when I was talking about this last night was the fact that they had representatives from like Europe and, as you had mentioned, like the United Kingdom, Germany, Switzerland. They even had an EU representative there. And
Wow.
I'm sure that they were all there to take notes and report back to the United Nations and say, this is a bad idea. This is bad. Because as soon as I saw the names of like who was on the board of peace, I was like, Yeah, peace. I kind of think you mean the other thing, not that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just none of the, and especially like Israel is in talks with trying to have peace in Gaza. Like that's a whole.
And
But
kill Palestinians.
It's just insane that we're just letting this happen. And I mean, like Congress or the Senate, and they could pass a law or pass whatever they want. We know he doesn't care. He's going to do whatever he wants. And that's what's so frustrating about all of this.
We all need to go to Washington and surround the White House.
Well, we know there's going to be absolutely no oversight on that money.
Oh no, because he is the only person who has control of this account. No one else does.
Let one man control all that money, and it never has been like that in the past. This is crazy.
Yeah, I agree with the comment. It's just another
bankruptcy 5 times to be in charge of the money.
Yeah, it's just another vanity project, just like everything else, and the grift, the big grift. He's robbing us blind, and Congress is letting him.
In history.
Yeah, and his son-in-law was standing. I'm sure you saw the photo. His son-in-law was standing on the podium. It's like, what the fuck are you doing there?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're nobody.
And the other son is taking the military money. They stealing us blind, and we just sitting here watching.
They are. Roseanne, did you want to play this video or?
How I forgot how long it is, Kim. I mean, if we have time,
well, we could play some of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I really like what she has to say.
Yeah, let's just play some of it, and we can put the link in the.
Okay, yeah, that would be great.
We could put the link in if we need to.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, she's great.
Is stealing from the American people. It doesn't matter if you hate me or think I'm a libtard monster with TDS or believe that everything I say is lies, because this just happened. The President of the United States announced that he is transferring $10 billion from the U.S. government to the Board of Peace. Now, the Board of Peace is the newly created international organization that includes a who's who of the authoritarian nations of the world, including Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Egypt, Turkey, Israel, Argentina, and Hungary, all of who paid $1 billion each for a permanent seat at Trump's table. And I say Trump's table because Trump created the organization. He named himself chairman, which according to the charter that he wrote means he dictates the entire enterprise, has full and exclusive authority, and will designate his own successor. So if there is any period of time where Donald Trump is not president of the United States, he will remain chairman of the Board of Peace for life. Donald Trump created an organization, picked who is on it, chose the board, made himself chairman, and he's now transferring 10 billion American taxpayer dollars into an account that only he controls with no oversight. To be clear, a sitting American president diverting $10 billion in public funds to a personal board violates the Constitution, our federal appropriations laws, and every basic anti-corruption safeguard our country has. But you don't need to understand any of that to know that this is wrong. Even if you think President Trump is doing all of this with good intentions, if you voted for him, you voted for America first. And now our money is going everywhere but America. To bring that point home, the first plan for the Board of Peace that was rolled out by the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, at Davos this year is a $25 billion luxury rebuild in Gaza for global investors. It's a real estate plan for the rich and famous to be built over the rubble of Gaza. Your money, the money you worked for and paid taxes on, is now going to build a playground for the rich and famous in the Middle East. Even if you are one of Trump's #1 fans, that should concern you. You can ignore that the Board of Peace is filled with war criminals and dictators, or that the American president is appropriating money from the American people without congressional approval. You can ignore that the president's son-in-law is in charge of the first project, and that project is a modern pleasure dome city for the ultra-rich. But you cannot ignore that while Americans are losing their healthcare and their education, and our costs from groceries to housing are through the roof, the president of the United States is taking $10 billion from us and putting it into an offshore account that only he controls. We get nothing while they build a luxury land none of us will ever see. You can hate me all you want, but you know that is not right.
Yep. 100%.
Yep, it is. I really like her. You know, I discovered her a little over a year ago, and she lives in Southern California. And you know, when the fires were going on, she was still doing all of this, but you could see in the background everything was packed. And she even said, we are ready to go at a moment's notice, because they have animals, but they had everything packed. But she's always right on, and you know, she keeps her messages short, but they are powerful, and they are very knowledgeable, because she really does know what she's talking about. And she's actually been on CNN a couple of times and has gone head to head with that Republican guy, Scott. I forgot
Scott
his name.
Jennings.
Yes, yes.
It is. She rips him apart, and it is glorious.
Yeah, I love it when she does that. Gives me hope. So, anyways, thank you.
She does her homework. Yeah.
It's worth noting that yesterday Trump he wants to change the name of the Board of Peace to the Donald J. Trump U.S. Institute for Peace. Speaking of humanity, but that has to be approved. And the other thing is Heather Cox Richardson, in her latest letter and her latest YouTube show, the politics one, she talks about how the U.S. has withdrawn from the World Health Organization, and Donald Trump wants to start another organization similar to the Board of Peace, but for health. And it would basically cost us 3 times as much as the WHO did.
Yeah.
I think California and Illinois have joined the WHO, and I believe other Democratic states are starting to follow.
It's California, Illinois, New York, Wisconsin, and New York City.
And don't forget California, Oregon, and Washington. We also did our own little.
Yeah, they have that over.
Yeah,
they have that over here too. Like the northeastern states made a coalition too.
Yeah.
So
we, we exchange all 3 of these states. We exchange information on, outbreaks and all kinds of stuff. So
what he's saying, he doesn't need approval. I don't know why y'all keep saying that. He's going to do what he wants to do until we stop him. Okay?
Yes.
Like and subscribe. Make a comment.
I do think it's important, though, to point out when things he's doing are not legal.
Yep.
So that
absolutely. Yeah, we got to bring that to light. But we all know he's going to try to do whatever, just like how they slapped his hands and said no tariffs. And he's talking about 10% tariffs. He's doing that because he's trying to see if anybody going to challenge him, because he knows that everybody's been punking out. When that person stands up and challenges him, that's when he'll stop this madness. However, I would like to welcome all our new members. Thank you for your membership. And also like and subscribe. We got a Keisha as our member. And also the drop is from Anitra. So welcome, new members.
Yay. Absolutely welcome. And we have to also remember, too, he gets away with it because he has his loyalists who manages the checkbook, basically.
What?
And so they'll just write him that check for $10 billion. They'll just write him that check from the IRS. I mean, Congress has to stand up. At some point, we are going to go bankrupt if this man is not stopped.
I did it 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Well, he bankrupted five of his own.
This man does not know nothing about finances except for taking.
No.
He don't know how to pay the bill. He won't pay the bill. He'll just take and take it from somewhere else until we get some more money and take. I'm gonna hit him in the head.
The
There's a
real
website that
financer was Ivana, his ex-dead wife. She was the real powerhouse.
And he pushed her down the stairs.
Absolutely.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
true. He has a
All
whole
right.
history of
I'm sorry.
Speaking
Yeah,
of following the money,
right.
oh,
That was a true statement. They acting like that Trump personally employs all of them and that Trump don't work for the government. He worked for us. He worked for we the people.
they don't realize that. They don't believe.
Well, he don't
that.
either.
Yeah. So it's always about money, right? With this administration, with everything they've done, and even the Epstein files. So I'm going to turn it over to Keisha, and she talks about following the money.
Yeah, so there is a great episode of Wajahat Ali's show from his Substack called The Left Hook, where he interviews journalist and culture critic Virginia Heffernan. And she wrote an article for The Nerve. And Kim, if you could put up that graphic.
Yeah, there we go.
So Virginia Heffernan wrote an article in The Nerve called The Billionaires' Eugenics Project, How Epstein Infiltrated Harvard, Muzzled the Humanities, and Preached Master Race Science. So I'm going to show you a clip from her conversation with Wajahat. It is an hour-long discussion, but I'll show you a 5-minute clip, and it is eye-opening. I have not seen this Epstein situation covered this way. She talks about how she joined something called The Edge, which is a salon of intellectual elites. After she signed, after she signed with a powerful literary agent named John Brackman. And in this clip, she talks about how he tells her that not only is he a literary agent, but he has this salon for intellectuals who trade ideas. And she was seduced into believing that she was joining something important and monumental, but she had no idea what she was getting into. So if we could play the clip.
Sure. All right. Give me a second here.
Barry Weiss, and on. So I signed with Brockman. I joined up with Edge. Edge, to just spoiler, was entirely funded by Jeffrey Epstein. It was a project to promote radical and dangerous ideas, all of which were surprisingly reactionary, conservative, and ultimately eugenics and rape apologetics. This is the stuff that leaked into op-ed columns everywhere. David Brooks, member of Edge, showed those pictures that you see of him in the Epstein files with tech gods are him at Edge events. So a measured conservative who's just moral and whatever, and maybe liked the Iraq War a little too much. That guy is also sitting with people who are pushing it in exactly the direction that the rest of us suspected it was going in, but weren't allowed to say. How many of us have shown up at a conference and looked down the list and been like, oh, these people, they hosted Charles Murray 2 years ago. Oh, well, I did it. Like the Saudis had me on a speaking gig and I looked around and was like, I'm not sure I should be here. And why do I need armed protection for a speaking gig I'm doing? I am a random literary critic, this should not be happening. So all I want to explain is I feel like the biggest percentage of the Epstein files are devoted to communications with financiers. The second one is with academics. So there are many of us who are unraveling, Epstein's role in financialization on the financial crisis and the banks, and people are doing all that due diligence. What I can bring to the table is tell you what he was doing with academia and ideas and how it trickled down to the rest of us.
I fantastic. You were on a roll, as someone said. I think this is why it's so important. And I appreciate your honesty, Virginia, and because many people would be defensive, but I think the way you explain it to us is, for many of us, I've been I've had a foot into it, right? Like Ted, I've been invited. The same year I was invited, Sam Harris was there. And Sam Harris and I went back and forth on Twitter because I picked out Sam Harris, Steve Pinker, Dershowitz, all these guys. I've been on top of it for a while, and I was told, Wad, you're just too sensitive. I had, I'll share this with you real quick. In the, because this is such something you would appreciate, people like you and me, how the hell did we get in these circles? In the green room, it was me and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and me telling Joseph Gordon-Levitt why Sam Harris isn't just your friendly atheist, and why so many people feel like behind his veil of intellectualism, there is a very deep-seated racism towards Islamophobia and Arabs and Muslims. And he sat there and he listened to me, kind of nodded his head. But that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was there. That Joseph Gordon-Levitt was very enamored by the Sam Harrises. The Steve Pinker's been invited many times to TED, right? Like several. And I kept telling people, folks, Steve Pinker, I noticed a cruelty there and a meanness towards people of color and women, right? Black people, LGBTQ. And then these same people during BLM and Me Too, these same people were part of the same type of cabal that pushed back against cancel culture, right? It's gone too far. And then Barry Weiss, what did she do? She picked up the mantle to crush cancel culture. Barry Weiss, folks, wait for it, is the head of CBS News. Guess who she just retained despite the entire 2 weeks of just the fury and anger and rage? Peter Attia. She just said yesterday that Dr. Peter Attia, who was mentioned hundreds of times in the Epstein files, the most disgusting emails, she says, no, we're not going to give in to cancel culture. We'll have Peter Attia, who, by the way, was also at Edge, David Sachs, billionaire. Who's the czar of AI and crypto for Donald Trump? David Sachs. Who is one of the biggest funders of free press of Barry Weiss? David Sachs. Who's the person who's aligned with Peter Thiel and knows him since Stanford? Who's part of the South African PayPal oligarchy? Wait for it, David Sachs. I'm just saying this, folks, so that you understand what we're witnessing, especially for the past, I would say 15 years, but especially the past 5 years, with culture, with politics, the attack on Black people, immigrants, Muslims, LGBTQ, the attack on wokeness, and furthermore, the promotion of this type of superior white race eugenics. It ties back to the Epstein class. Sorry, Virginia, for my little rant.
Not at all. I think it's great. And, I'm a huge fan of David Graeber.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He said Peter Attia. He's a doctor, right? I've been reading.
No, he's not a doctor. He has, I believe he has a medical degree, but he's not a doctor.
No, but he wrote the book called Outlive.
Right.
I believe.
He is not a doctor.
I've been listening. He was at some point, but he left the field. From what I remember. Oh my God, I can't read the book anymore. Jeez.
Yeah. So the thing that was very disturbing about this, learning all of this, listening to this conversation, is just how many wealthy, connected, not even wealthy, but how many connected white men are elevated in our society as these brilliant intellectuals who we should be paying attention to. They have book deals. They write editorial opinions in newspapers. They run networks, and they're white supremacists. A lot of them, they're misogynists. They're racist, and they push these ideas that oppress the rest of us. But we're supposed to not be woke, not be offended. We're the ones who are the problem, not them. And it's this whole thing that was bankrolled by Jeffrey Epstein and supported by people like him.
And I think it was on Katie and May Money show yesterday where they showed the Black lady. She was working at this one place, and she was going to be.
She was in Savannah, Georgia. She was a doctorate of special education, and on an in-service day, she was driving to school, Dr. Linda Davis, and she was killed by an ICE agent in pursuit of someone who was an illegal, and nobody wants to talk about it. crazy.
This is why the Epstein files have been hidden for so long.
Yeah. Earlier in the video, Virginia Heffernan talks about being a single mother, 2 kids, living in a crappy apartment in New York, and just being amazed that she could be part of this group full of these elites, people who she looked up to, people whose writing and work she appreciated and respected. And her literary agent, John Rockman, telling her, I've got this salon, it's wonderful, you want to be a part of it, we trade great ideas, and we fly on private jets. And then she finds out, he doesn't say it at the time, but she finds out later that it's Jeffrey Epstein's private jet. And she talks about how she finds herself in these situations where she's like, I think there's something wrong here. But she's questioning herself because they're basically gaslighting her. If she says that something seems misogynist, they tell her she's being a ridiculous feminist. She's overreacting. And I just, for me, she talks about how when she saw the Epstein files come out, it validated all of those doubts and questions that she had in the back of her mind that she kind of suppressed. And I feel similarly hearing this conversation because of the fact that there are so many men who have been elevated as some kind of like brilliant geniuses who I thought to myself, these people are fucking idiots.
They are.
They just have this money and power because of their access.
The man used to be the doorman, and because he was white, they came over to him and asked him, did he want to be an engineer? And they said they would train him just because he was white, but he didn't have no schooling or anything.
We had a saying when I was growing up, Keisha, that was money walks, but bullshit talks.
Yeah, we still have it.
And it's, and it is still prevalent today in what we are talking about with you right now. So,
yeah,
disgusting,
scary.
Follow the money.
And
money is still going through Epstein's accounts, believe it or not. So how is that happening? Where is it going? Who's doing that?
I told you, Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank America.
Yeah, but Andrea, who is depositing the money into these accounts? And then where is it going from there? Who's the benefactor?
Goes to go get more girls.
Well, if we had a proper investigation, we could find out.
That's right. They're not good. This stuff.
That's a big deal.
Some people say it's never going to come out.
Follow the money, but also trust your instincts, because we've all been conned. We've been led to believe that we are the problems because we point out racism, we point out misogyny, we point out sexism, we point out homophobia. It's not us who are the problem.
We was getting too close to the money is why they started all of this. We was getting too close.
Well, it's always projection. Always projection. With that group.
You see an op-ed from David Brooks, and we're told that we should listen to both sides and have an open mind. Call bullshit on it.
I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of the both sides. There's always good on each, and I'm so sick of them trying to talk about bipartisanship. That period of time in DC is done. We are so past that. We have to stop thinking, oh, well, maybe the Republicans will do the right thing. The last year plus has proved that they won't. They won't do shit because Daddy Trump told them not to. Just saying.
They've been trying to do this every time the Republicans are in office. And we keep trying to turn it back every time the Democrats are in office. And it's like I say, they have the money. You know, they didn't pay us. I'm still waiting on my check.
I agree, Mo, and I hope the international investigations follow the money and start to figure this out.
They are arresting people in other countries, but not here.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what Andrew has to say, if anything.
Andrew was trying to hide his head. He was ducking down in the car.
He's not going to say anything. I don't think.
They'll kill him. He'll be dead like Epstein. And they say Epstein not dead. Shoot, it's not.
Yeah, there was a picture floating around.
Yeah.
I checked it.
Yeah, of him in
It didn't look like AI.
There's also one that people think that the Ghislaine in jail is not the real Ghislaine.
See what I mean? Because that couldn't be Melania at all these occasions with Trump.
After all this coming out, I
don't believe nothing no more.
I wouldn't put it past any of them. We don't know the truth. We still don't know the truth. Anything else on that, Keisha?
Just that I recommend checking out the rest of the video. It is a really good watch.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to remember when we're done to put all these links.
It was really good. Thank you. Enlightened.
Okay. All right. So let's switch gears a little bit and go to Miss Andrea. What do you have for us this evening?
Well, I wanted to show. David said I should. We should show the starting at minute 6.
At minute 6.
Started minute 6. Or
okay. All right. Let me cue it up here.
Do
you want to talk about what this is before we show the video, or just show the video?
I think, some of this stuff is self-explanatory. Some of the stuff I show is just self-explanatory, just some more Trump.
Okay. All right. So I have it queued up at minute 6.
And then we'll show the funny stuff, the good stuff.
Let's take a look. Take a listen.
Was it of the orgy variety?
Well, they were in different rooms.
Mm-hmm.
The man got so many rooms in that house. I ain't never seen that many rooms in a house in my life. But it was more by everybody in all these different rooms. And when you open up a door, it was something going on different in a different room. So you got in where you fit in at. If you feel like you want to go in that room, you go in that room right there. There was some things going on, some interesting things going in that room. It was just like a regular.
Well, you say you keep what? Give me an example of an interesting thing that was going on, if you don't mind.
Outside of the sex, you got to use your imagination. If it's sex, then it's some other things going on that you don't want to be involved in.
I don't know if my imagination goes that far. I don't. So if it wasn't sex,
oh no, you a big boy.
No, really, bro.
Boy, you in the radio business.
Wait a minute. So wait a minute. Something was going on outside of sex and drugs that was interesting. Well, I'm trying to figure out.
Outside of sex.
Outside of sex.
Outside of sex. And then now you add whatever else you want to use your imagination. What happens when what happens after that? But there was a lot of things going on in there.
Uh-huh.
You don't, them guys in there, it was going down.
So was Donald Trump having?
It was one of them parties you would have enjoyed yourself being in.
Well, I don't know, brother. See, I probably would have been like you. I would have rolled out, but I don't know if I would enjoy myself. But now, what about Donald Trump? Was he having sex with all these women?
No, I didn't see him having no sex. Let me tell you, the man took us around the house. Okay, he said, "Look, I got all these women. I got these women from the pageant. They're gonna be there." So we went. It was like, "Hey, man, I got a pageant down here. I'm hosting these women at the house. Okay, up in Palm Beach. They send some cars to pick us up. We get in the cars. We drive up there. Me, Mike, Eddie Murphy. We all in our own individual cars. Car service drove us up there. We got there. He showed us around the house. Told us about this mansion and the history behind it and all that. Just the golf course. It was dark. We couldn't see the golf course and things like that. And then before you know it, hey, man, y'all enjoy yourself. We got cocktails and everything. And before you know it, the rooms and everything start popping. There wasn't no DJ. It was more of, hey, get in where you fit in. Whatever room you're going to go in, you go into that room.
So you say no DJ. There was no music? Or the music was piped in?
No, there wasn't no music.
No music.
That was the interesting part about it. There wasn't no music.
So women just naked in rooms with no music.
Hey, people walk around. It was, listen, it wasn't nothing wrong with that. I was happy to be at that party, but then at the end of the day, when I started looking at some of these girls' faces, I was like, man, these girls don't look like they're old enough. I didn't ask nobody their age. And then all the other stuff going on, you know, it was like, okay, I can't be up here. I got to go. If I'm going to jail, then somebody's going to extort me. I really, you know, I don't do drugs. Never did it in my life. You know, I smoked marijuana 2 times, you know, when I was in high school, and I didn't like the experience. As far as drugs, I may have sold drugs. I never liked the people who I sold them to when I was young, because I thought they were stupid for buying it. So I never had cared to indulge in it. So when I do see people doing it, if I'm around it, I get away from it. Put it that way.
Wow. Okay.
This is 2 Live Crew, and Trump was escorting them around this place. And you can put the chat, you know, put it in the chat like you do. And
Andrea, this was at Mar-a-Lago, right?
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So, you know, nothing's, follow the money, follow him. He's no good. He's just, so all he want to do is take these women over to Gaza now in this elite place for the highfalutin.
So, I mean, he was definitely one of the owner operators of all this.
And he would get, I don't know if he drugged the pageant girls, and then, like they said, they saw how young some of them were, and so the guys from 2 Live Crew, they said they didn't want to be there. You know, they said they didn't want to be around nothing like that. So, you know, this man is so corrupt, and they're trying to take over the whole world with all this corruptness, and it just sounds like they're trying to turn the whole world into a playground for nasty old white men.
Yeah, it does.
They really don't. They really, I mean, there's very few Black people that, you know, are invited, I should say.
Yeah, definitely Eyes Wide Shut. And there's a whole thing around Kubrick on that, if people want to look that up.
I just hear the piano part from Eyes Wide Shut in my head. It's it's an interesting movie for sure.
Yeah.
But it's just that I don't want to say I've become numb to hearing about this Epstein stuff, because I haven't, but it's just, how much more stuff do we need to hear of how messed up all of this is? And
that's the part I don't get. I'm like, how much do we? I mean, I'm getting numb to it. I feel like nobody's gonna do anything, and I keep saying crazy stuff like we need to all go around the White House and drag them out of there, get them out of there, or have protests that are so, you know, even if people took shifts and you went this day, somebody else the next day, you know, that it was continuous, you know.
Continuous protest, yeah.
My fear about surrounding the White House is we're going to get to a point where they're just going to start shooting us.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody to stop him. Because at least when in the first term, at one point, he said, oh, well, can't we just shoot the protesters in the leg or whatever? He had someone to stop him and say, no, you can't do that. He doesn't have that now. And that's a scary thing.
And he smoke bombed them.
Yeah.
Same, because we can't shoot them, we smoke bombed them, and so, you know, and then he showed you in Minneapolis that he's not afraid of killing white people.
Right.
That used to be sacred, remember?
Okay.
So can we just look at the fun stuff now?
Want to have a palate cleanser? Do we need a palate cleanser? We need a palate cleanser.
Yes.
All right.
Happy Black History Month.
Yep, I can get it. Okay, why won't it unmute? Oh, that's weird. Weird. Okay.
My skin, it glows like gold. Melanin popping, watch it unfold. Hair in a bun with my diamond bow. Black girl magic and all I know. My mama taught me, hold your head high. Queens don't bow, we touch the sky. From my lashes to my polished toes. I'm black excellence and it shows. Black girl magic, that's what I got. Black girl magic can't be bought. From my crown to my design shoes. Black girl magic in all I do. I'm cute and I know it, that's a fact. Cause I got that black girl magic. I'm cute and I know it, no cap. Cause I got that black girl magic. Harriet Tubman showed the way. Rosa Parks sat, didn't sway. Maya's words, they still inspire. Black girl magic, we're on fire. History runs through my veins. Strength and beauty in my name. Every curl, every shade, every style. Black girl magic makes me smile. Girl magic, that's what I got. Black girl magic can't be bought. From my crown to my design shoes. Black girl magic in all I do. I'm cute and I know it, that's a fact. Cause I got that black girl magic. I'm cute and I know it, no cap. Cause I got that black girl. They tried to dim our light, no way. But we shine bright day and night. All day. From baby Bianca to grown queens. Black girl magic in our veins. Black girl magic, that's what I got. Black girl magic can't be bought. From my crown to my design shoes. Black girl magic in all I do. I'm cute and I know it, that's a fact. Black girl magic. I'm cute and I know it, no cap. Cause I got that black girl. If you want a gram, that's my brand. Black girl magic across the land. Remember my name, baby Bianca too. Black girl magic in everything I do. Black girl magic in everything I do. Black girl magic. Look at my skin, it glows like gold. Melanin popping, watch it unfold. Hair in the bun with my diamond bow. Ay, ay, ay. Look at my skin, look at my skin. It goes like gold. Look at my skin, look at my skin. Look at my skin, my skin. Look at black girl magic. Look at my skin, it goes like gold. Look at my skin, it goes like gold. Look at my skin. Look at my skin. Look at my skin.
So you gotta wear your crown. I love this black girl magic.
Is that a song? Are we going to get a copyright ding on that?
No, it was on Facebook. So they playing it all over Facebook.
Well, if we do, we'll just have to handle it then.
Like
that was adorable.
Yeah, it sounds like AI to
Well,
me too.
The video is definitely AI.
Mhm.
I don't know about the music, but yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, it was cute. I liked it.
All right. So let me stop
You
the screen there.
contemplating what? You look like you in deep thought.
Who?
Keisha. She like you in deep thought.
All right. Before we go to August on the Move, we have one more little fun video from Maureen. And this is a very different topic, but it's we've had a lot of snow here in California.
No.
Up and down, up and down. So this is fun. Let's see if we can make this a little bigger so everybody can see. Stop.
No way.
Oh.
Bears took a shot
No.
at that.
Even the bears having fun.
Look at him.
Yeah.
North Star is my ski resort of choice, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
find it interesting that these guys are not hibernating right now.
I know, huh?
Because they really should be.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. Well, they
Well, the
decided to
weather-
go have fun.
yeah,
because it got again and cold.
You froze again.
That's
Kim?
where they're running home. So
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
freezing.
When they're
Thank
not
you,
they're
Maureen.
on the slopes, when they're not breaking into houses and literally taking out refrigerators
Yeah.
and throwing. They do because I
They
have
do.
friends that were Placer County Sheriff up there, and many times they would come into a house that had been broken into. The refrigerators are out, they're outside, and they have just been obliterated. And then the beds upstairs had bear poop in them. It was like,
Oh God.
yeah.
Exactly,
in the
Mo.
lights.
Climate change. Climate change.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Oh,
Mo said.
but
Yeah.
Kim, there is no climate change.
No, that's another.
Remember?
No, none at all. Mm-mm.
All right. Thank you for sharing those fun little videos. Now it's time for August on the Move. I will turn it over.
All right. Welcome, everybody. And thanks to all our new members. We want to lift them up. Remember to like and subscribe, please. And we really love your comments. Remember that what you should be informed about, I'm trying to make sure that you remember. So I'm going to add to the stage this topic real quickly. I'll be quick, but check this one out.
Lawyer's reaction.
Get out of here.
Well, now this is interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because if this video is true, it purports to show police officers kicking out ICE agents who were there allegedly without a warrant looking to detain someone suspected of violating immigration law. Now, legally speaking, the federal government trumps the state under the supremacy clause of the Constitution, meaning if federal agents such as ICE show up to conduct official federal business, the state cannot stop them, including state police. But in order to conduct official state business on private property, it requires a warrant. So without a warrant and without consent, federal ICE agents do not have a lawful reason for being on private property. And without a lawful federal purpose, state law kicks in. And if a private property owner asks you to leave their property and you don't have a warrant to be there, you become a trespasser. And law enforcement can remove a trespasser even if that's a federal ICE agent. So assuming all of the allegations are true, it means that city police officers can absolutely remove an ICE agent from private property if they do not have a warrant to be there.
Lawyer's
Know
reaction.
your rights. Know your rights. That's what that is
Donald
all
Trump-
about. But I want to talk
Hey,
to you
everybody.
about this one.
You know who's been doing really well since Pam Bondi became the Attorney General?
Yes.
Brad Bondi, Pam's brother. I'm Liz
Oh.
Oyer, the former pardon attorney for the Department of Justice. Brad Bondi leads the investigation and white-collar defense practice at the law firm Paul Hastings. He represents clients facing investigation or prosecution by the Department of Justice. Having his sister at the top of that organization has been great for Brad's clients. Let me give you some examples. This is Carolina Amnesty. She was an elected official in Florida who the Justice Department charged with taking over $100,000 in fraudulent COVID-19 relief funds, which supposedly DOJ is cracking down. But Carolina Amnesty had the bright idea to hire Brad Bondi right after his sister was named Attorney General. And amazingly, a few months later, DOJ dropped all the charges against Amnesty. Poof, gone. Then there's Sid Chakrabarty. He's a real estate developer from St. Louis who DOJ charged with illegally claiming millions of dollars in tax incentives. Last year, Brad Bondi joined his defense team. And then 1 month later, the Justice Department dismissed the whole case against both Chakravarty and his partner, Vic Alston. Then there's Trevor Milton, another client of Brad Bondi's. Milton was convicted of a massive fraud scheme, and DOJ was seeking over $600 million in restitution for his victims. But then, before any of that money was paid back, Milton got a pardon from Donald Trump. The pardon wiped out years of work by career prosecutors to get accountability for Milton's victims. Brad Bondi is also representing the International Association of Cruise Lines in a lawsuit against the state of Hawaii. The cruise lines are challenging a new tourism tax on ships that stop in Hawaii. And guess what? The Justice Department has now intervened in the lawsuit on behalf of the cruise lines. In other words, DOJ is helping Brad Bondi's clients to win their case. Brad Bondi recently posted on LinkedIn bragging about all these wins. He wrote that in addition to all these public wins, there were many confidential victories, including confidential settlements, declinations, and closing letters. That's a quote. In other words, we don't even know the full extent of the deals he has gotten for his clients. This is not normal. I don't know of any lawyer anywhere who has this type of track record dealing with the DOJ, which is the most powerful law enforcement agency in the country. You might be asking, can they really do this? Well, there are rules and regulations that prohibit preferential treatment and conflicts of interest. But last year, Pam Bondi fired the person who enforces those rules. DOJ now has no ethics director, no professional responsibility director, and no inspector general. So basically no one to police the corruption. But don't worry, I am keeping tabs on all of it. And together we will demand accountability.
Sounds good to me. Are we being bamboozled or hoodwinked? No, you're right.
4
everyone.
years, 100,000.
I want to bring, last but not least, his
The cabin lights were dim and humming softly. A black woman slept quietly by the window, her head resting on a worn jacket. Then suddenly the calm shattered. A trembling voice echoed through the speakers.
Everyone,
Is
please
there any
remain
fighter
seated.
pilot on board? Passengers froze.
So
Some
sad.
gasped. Others whispered in fear. The woman stirred, eyes opening slowly, confused by the panic around her. Moments earlier, she had been ignored while boarding. A flight attendant had sighed at her old shoes. A man nearby had muttered, "She doesn't look like she belongs in business class." She had learned to stay silent. Life had taught her that silence was safer than explaining her past. Growing up broke, sleeping hungry, fighting every step just to survive. The captain's voice came again, shakier now. "We've lost critical control. We need help, now." The woman stood up. A few people laughed nervously. Her neighbor whispered, "Ma'am, please sit down." She spoke calmly. "I'm a retired fighter pilot. I flew combat missions for 20 years. The cabin went silent. Minutes later, she was in the cockpit, hands steady, voice firm. She guided the crew through the storm, correcting errors, restoring control. When the plane landed safely, people cried. Some prayed. The captain turned to her with tears in his eyes. "You saved every life on this plane." As she walked back to her seat, no one looked away this time. They stood. They clapped. They bowed their heads. Because greatness doesn't announce itself. And the moral is simple. Never judge a soul by how quietly they sit. Some heroes are just resting before the moment calls them. The cabin lights were dim.
Or never judge a book by its cover. Read the pages and get to know them. My last story for one more, and that's it. I want you to understand. We talked about travel the other day, and I wanted you to know. So here's an airline bag that I hope will help out. If it will play. Okay, we're doing this again. All right. This is the airline bag. The airline bag is called LUUX.
I have one.
Yes.
It's phenomenal. Just saying.
Yes, it is. It is. When you get a chance, please look into it, and it will definitely help you with your travel. And for Black History Today, we will definitely take you. Thank you for sticking with us. Just give me 2 more minutes and we can finish up. For Black History, I would like to bring this one to the table. Let's bring it to the stage if it will play. All right. Is it up?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
History Week. And I'm talking about like what it actually was, what it meant. Because when Carter G. Woodson created Black History Week in 1926, he wasn't trying to decorate February, he was intervening. Woodson believed that American education wasn't just incomplete, it was deliberately distorted. Black people showed up in textbooks as either background labor or a problem. If we were mentioned at all, it was usually inside a narrative that made white narcissism look orderly and inevitable. So Woodson said, if the system won't correct itself, then we will. Now, here's what they actually taught during Negro History Week. They didn't start with slavery. They started with Africa before enslavement, political systems, trade networks, scholarship, kingdoms, not fantasy, not mythology, structured societies. Why, though? Because if the first thing a child hears about themselves is chains, that shapes the ceiling of their imagination. Woodson understood psychology before people were calling it that. Slavery was taught, but it wasn't the origin story. It wasn't our identity. Then came Reconstruction. In the 1920s, mainstream textbooks followed what was called the Dunning School, which basically taught that Reconstruction failed because Black people were incompetent and corrupt. Woodson and his network taught the opposite. They taught about Black legislators, Black educators, Black communities building schools and institutions. They framed Reconstruction as a real democratic experiment that was violently overthrown. They highlighted Black economic life, banks, insurance companies, mutual aid societies, business districts. The message was clear. We were not passive recipients of freedom, and it didn't stop at economics. They taught intellectual life. Writers, scientists, inventors, journalists, scholars, not just Booker T and Frederick Douglass. Contemporary thinkers, living minds. And that matters because it tells students that you are not a relic. You're a part of something ongoing. And here's the part that feels radical, even now. Negro History Week had civic implication. They talked about the Constitution, voting rights, how local and federal government worked, where Black Americans were being excluded, and how that exclusion functioned. By 1937, they created the Negro History Bulletin to help the teachers build structured lessons. It was organized. They were very strategic. And Woodson never intended for this to stay a separate week forever. He believed that if American schools told the full truth consistently, there would be no need for a designated week. That's important because Negro History Week wasn't about isolation. It was about correction. Over time, when it expanded into Black History Month in 1976, the tone softened in many spaces. It became celebration heavy, digestible, safe. But originally, it was intellectual resistance. It was narrative reclamation. And when you understand that, it doesn't feel like a Heritage Week. It feels like strategy. And that hits different because then you know exactly how powerful you are.
Welcome to the resistance. Back over to you, Kim.
Thank you, August. Those were all great. Great. We went over again a little bit today as we do, but all really good segments, really good information. Thank you, everybody, for bringing your piece to the table. And thank you, everybody in the chat for joining us. You know, we love you. We love having conversations with you and hearing what you think. So if you can remember, as August said earlier, please like and subscribe when you like. It helps the algorithm, right, Andrea?
It helps the algorithm. It does.
It does. And if you are so inclined and would like to support the work, please consider becoming a member.
I can subscribe.
And anybody else have any last parting words before we take off for the weekend?
The Dow! The Dow!
That was funny.
Sorry.
Happy Black History Month.
That was good, Roseanne. That was good, Roseanne.
I saw Keisha and Momo's comment. It was like, oh my God.
Crazy. That one will go down in history. That's for sure. Yeah. All right, everybody, have a wonderful night. Have a safe weekend. And we will see you next week, starting Tuesday, and then our normal show Wednesday. And again, back here at the table on Friday. Yeah. Love ya. Have a good one.
Good weekend. Thank you.
Later.
Stay safe.
We the people unite.